I'm Danielle, your host of the Abridged to Motherhood podcast, the place where moms like you learn to thrive, not just survive through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. I'm a birth and postpartum doula and a mom of two who's been where you are. My first pregnancy was filled with so much excitement, but it was also marked by stress, anxiety, and fear of the unknown. I thought I had everything mapped out, but when postpartum hit, I realized how unprepared I was for the physical, emotional, and mental toll of motherhood. It was overwhelming, lonely, and nothing like I imagined. When I found out I was pregnant again, I knew I needed to approach things differently. I made it my mission to not only prepare for postpartum, but to prioritize myself in the process. That shift changed everything. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Whether you're navigating your first pregnancy, feeling buried under endless advice, or struggling to figure out what you actually need for postpartum, this podcast is your safe space. You'll find practical tips, honest conversations, and expert insights to help you feel informed, supported, and empowered through every stage of motherhood. If you're ready to feel confident, prepared, and truly supported in your motherhood journey, stick around. This is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to the Abridged to Motherhood podcast. I cannot believe that it is August already and we are planning to go back to school. Now my kiddos don't go back until after Labor Day, but I bet many of you are in back to school mode right now, and I know how stressful that can be, and it can bring out that perfectionist in us, that high achiever in us. So I think today's episode will hopefully speak to you about how to adjust your mindset during pregnancy and postpartum for high achieving moms. Hello to all of my fellow type A'ers out there, to those of us that took the honors classes, to those of us that found our worth in our careers and in what we are doing in our achievements, whether that was in school, in work, or in our hobbies, whatever that may be for you. I have a feeling you can relate in some way. As a high achiever, you may be used to having control, hitting your goals, and running on a completely packed schedule. But motherhood, especially in that postpartum phase, often requires a shift in expectations. And it even starts during pregnancy too. Our bodies cannot do what we have been able to do sometimes during pregnancy, depending on how your pregnancy is going. And it really requires a shift in us to understand why embracing flexibility and reducing the pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect and help us prepare for the unexpected, because we all know motherhood is full of the unexpected, and that can make our transition into motherhood so much smoother, whether it's your first baby or your fifth baby. High achieving moms often find it hard to let go of their drive for perfection, for efficiency, and for control. Hello, I am speaking to myself. The postpartum experience, however, is full of surprises, and it definitely doesn't always go according to plan. This episode is for those of you who feel anxious about the changes ahead and who struggle with the idea of not being able to do it all. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of balancing your high standards with motherhood, I've got you covered. Let's dive right in to lesson number 1, letting go of the need for perfection. As a high achiever, you may have set very high standards for yourself, but the reality of postpartum often means things aren't going to go perfectly. In fact, I don't think there is such a thing as perfect. It's this idea we have created in our head. And embracing imperfection will help you feel more at ease during this transition. For example, maybe you have always thrived on having a perfectly clean kitchen, but with a newborn, you might need to adjust and accept the fact that you might have to go to bed with some dirty dishes in the sink one night, and that you can get to them in the morning. And instead of feeling frustrated about that, focus on what you can do rather than what's not going as planned. Trying to hold ourselves to the same standards we had before a baby is just going to lead to so much burnout or guilt when things don't go according to plan. And if I'm speaking to the mom who is now maybe having her second baby and you have a toddler following you around on your hip, postpartum is going to look different this time. The nursing sessions, the ability to nap when the baby naps, if you had that luxury with your first, may be gone now because you have a toddler or an older child that needs your attention. So letting go of that expectation of what it's going to look like this time, that it will be exactly the same. Try to let go of the expectation that this postpartum experience is going to be exactly the same as your first. Each time is going to be a little bit different, and it's going to have its own joys and its own struggles, and allow yourself to focus on this particular postpartum experience. Lesson number 2, we've got to shift from control to flexibility. High achievers, type A's, whatever you want to call us, we like to be in control. But the postpartum period often calls for a more flexible approach to life. Babies are unpredictable, and you may have to adjust quickly. Learning to be flexible with your time, your expectations, and even your goals for the day. You may feel like you can get 10 things accomplished, but in reality, you can only get 2 accomplished. We have to allow ourselves to be happy with what we are able to accomplish, to feel more at peace. You may have planned to hit a certain career milestone right after maternity leave, but now your energy levels or your emotional state might require you to adjust. You may have thought that you would always want to go back to work, and now you're thinking that maybe you want to stay home. By being flexible, you can ease the pressure of needing everything to happen on your timeline. Holding on too tightly to rigid plans and not adjusting when your needs change, that leads to a lot of frustration and unnecessary stress. Don't ask me how I know that. Number 3, let's redefine success in motherhood. We often, and I'm saying we because this includes me, define our success by productivity and results. But in motherhood, success looks very different. It's about that emotional connection we feel with our spouse, with our child, and our friendships. It's about nurturing our babies and taking care of ourselves while still taking care of them. Redefining success will allow you to find joy in the small moments rather than focusing only on outcomes. Instead of measuring success by how quickly you can get your baby to sleep through the night, measure it by how present you are with your baby or how well you cared for your own well-being, and celebrate those successes. Comparing yourselves to other moms who seem to have it all together and forgetting that your journey is not the same, that is just not what we need to be doing. We need to understand that our journeys do not need to be defined by external milestones or somebody else's standards, or even some standard we have set for ourselves. Lesson number 4, managing our expectations and prioritizing self-care. High-achieving moms often forget to prioritize their own well-being in the process of taking care of everyone else, making sure the house looks perfect, making sure that we have the perfect gift for the event that we're going to, making sure that we have all the clothes washed, and that we are making time to teach our baby sign language and do baby-led weaning and all of the other things. But learning to prioritize our self-care is not only essential for our health, but it helps us to be more present in motherhood. Our natural inclination might be to put our baby, our work first, our housekeeping first, but setting time aside for self-care, even small moments, and I have lots of episodes that talk about this. I will link them in the show notes. It's going to help you recharge and keep your emotional and mental health intact. Try not to overcommit yourself to a bunch of external obligations, because we have to make time and space in our schedule for our own needs. We don't have to feel this pressure to do it all and say yes to everything. Your life has shifted with a baby, or your second baby, or your third baby, or your fourth baby, and it is okay to say no. Lesson number 5, embracing support and letting go of the supermom myth. Although I love it when my husband gives me a compliment about being super mom or super wife, or he used to call me super teacher when I was teaching. You know what? It isn't all that it's cracked up to be. As a high achiever, you might be inclined to handle everything yourself, but embracing support from your partner, your family, or a paid professional can make your transition into motherhood so much smoother. Letting go of this myth of being the perfect mom or super mom is going to allow you to be a more present mom, because instead of constantly going, you are able to be more present in your baby's life. Instead of trying to handle every task alone, ask for help with the household chores, meal prep, or baby care. This will give you space to focus on bonding with your baby and nurturing your own mental health. Believing that you need to be perfect or do it all alone, again, leads to so much overwhelm and burnout. Do not wait until it is too late to ask for help. I say all of this with the utmost love for you because I have been there. And in fact, during my first postpartum, I had to have sticky notes around my house telling me that my worth was not found in doing, because that was all I knew prior to becoming a mom. It was always about getting all of my work done. It was all about getting the A. It was all about being the best teacher that I could be in my career. It was all about making sure that the house was well taken care of, that my husband felt supported, that I was the best daughter and friend. But I found myself so overwhelmed when I could no longer have that same output that I always had before. And I want you to hear me when I say that you can learn to let go of these things. And it doesn't mean that you have to go completely the opposite way and become completely type B. No, use the skills that you have been blessed with to make your life more efficient, to make your life and home run more smoothly. But I want you to be able to embrace the imperfection. Let go of the need for everything to be perfect and give yourself some grace. Take things one day at a time and allow flexibility in your postpartum experience. Acknowledge that you can't control everything, especially when it comes to your baby. Embrace flexibility in your plans and be open to adjusting as needed. I also want you to shift your definition of success away from productivity and focus on what it looks like to nurture yourself and your baby. Celebrate those small victories like a good nap or a meaningful connection with your baby or getting out of the house together for the first time, whatever that looks like for you. Prioritize some self-care, even in small doses. Remember that caring for yourself will make you better able to care for your baby, and don't be afraid to ask for help and accept help when others offer. I really hope this episode helped you reflect on the mindset shifts that will make your transition to motherhood smoother. Remember, it's okay to let go of that high achiever mentality and give yourself permission to embrace those slow newborn days with all the imperfections, the flexibility, and support that you need. And if you are listening to this and are just feeling completely overwhelmed, you know that your mental health isn't where it should be, whether you're pregnant or in postpartum, I want you to take a second and go download my free postpartum mental health toolkit. It has a list of resources for you. It's going to help you find a good counselor near you. It's going to help you take those first steps in really prioritizing your mental health as a mom. It has a ton of free resources and some paid ones like books and workbooks that have worked really well for me or clients that I have worked with. And I wanted to put it all in one place for you. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to abridgetomotherhood.com/toolkit to download that. I want that to get into every new mom's hands because we never know when a struggle with our mental health might hit. It doesn't discriminate. So I highly recommend that you give that a download so that you have it if you need it, or to pass it along to a friend of yours who you know could benefit. And thanks so much again for being with me here this week. I wanted to give you a heads up that I will be hosting a free workshop later this month. So keep tuning into the podcast to get all the details, or come hang out with me over on Instagram at A Bridge to Motherhood. I hope you have a great week and can't wait to see you all next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Abridged to Motherhood podcast. I'm so glad you were here today. If you loved this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review for the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on. Share it with a friend or snap a screenshot and tag me on social media. If you decide to leave me a review, go to abridgedtomotherhood.com/review. That link is also in the show notes so that I can send you a little gift in the mail. Your support helps other moms to find the podcast, and it truly means the world to me. Remember, your motherhood journey deserves your care and attention. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself, mama, and don't worry, I'm here to help every step of the way. See you soon.